fastest show in sports.
I purposely did not do this on the day after the College Football National Championship because, honestly, what more can you say? Indiana played the better game. They deserve to be the national champions. It's an excellent story. It's a kind of a story that we need right now. It's an uplifting story. It's got family involved in it. It's got hard work. It's got a coach that basically takes no nonsense. It's a great story, and they won the championship. Miami lost. Okay, that's what it is. I'm not taking anybody to task. I'm saying Miami, in this case, was second best. The Canes made all kinds of mistakes during the game, especially when it comes down to officiating and penalties, which I have said many times before. Miami is one of those teams that, and this is nothing against Mario Cristobal or the players who were there. This is more history than anything else. Miami, for some reason, always seems to be that team that gets itself in trouble, does foolish things, takes the bad penalties. I mean, look, we've seen it in the playoffs already. It's not like it hadn't happened before, but Miami's one of those teams that just seems to shoot itself in the foot every now and then. And they did in this game as well. Indiana made its mistakes, but they're the better team. They're the national champion. And I have no qualms about that. Again, as I said before the game, I really didn't have a dog in this fight, if you will, in this hunt, because despite the fact that I'm close to the University of Miami, win, lose, it doesn't make a difference, okay? It's just you played a good game and you lost the game. Now, having said all that, we have to move forward on what is now college football, because this has been a cataclysmic change in college football. This season has been unlike any other, and we're still involved in a lot of it, and it's going to carry forward for a lot of years. It's going to change the game. More than it's already changed, we're not even there yet. We still have to get to the point. Case in point. Well, okay. Before I get there, I have to just something off the top of my head, and I have to get rid of this, and then we'll get into the serious stuff. The single most entertaining thing to me after the college football championship between Indiana and Miami was going on social media and reading all the people who were bitching, moaning, whining, and crying about how their team should be the national champion. I can't tell you how many times I ran up across a post on social media that talked about how, well, it's obvious now that XXX team, no, the hell with it, I'll do this. It came right, the first thing I saw was Notre Dame fans. I mean, and I'm already in trouble with Notre Dame fans. They're all pissed off at me now over some of the things I've said during the season. And some of the things I said were, stop crying, stop whining. Matter of fact, you should have gone to the bowl game, just for no other sense and purpose that it's the Pop-Tarts Bowl. You should have went, because that would have been the right thing to do. But you huffed and puffed and you walked away and you stomped your feet and you basically took your football and went home, which was the wrong thing to do. So I'm already at the X point with a lot of these Notre Dame fans. But the first one I saw was, this is obvious. This proves once again that if we, Notre Dame, had been in the national championship, we would have won the national championship. This goes to prove it without a shadow of a doubt. We should have been in there. Right after that, I saw one from Texas saying, look, this is obvious. This proves that Texas should be the national champion. And if you had us in the game, we'd be national champion. Third one that came up was Texas Tech, and it was exactly the same thing. This goes to show that Texas Tech was the better team. We should be in the national championship game, and we would have won the game. People, please stop. Please stop. It's over. You lost. You're out. Notre Dame, you lost to Miami at the beginning of the season. Goodbye. I mean, it doesn't do any good to continue this crying. Now, I'm going to temper some of what I'm saying, knowing that full well a lot of it is trolls. I mean, there's people out there just going and they're looking to start a fight on the various pages and the various group pages of the teams, and they are starting the fight, but they're also basically kissing everybody's ass by saying we should have been there. Makes everybody happy. Everybody agrees. They go back and forth, but it's over. You lost. The two best teams for this game were in this game. The two best teams that fought their way through the playoffs, that beat teams in some cases they weren't supposed to beat, that they were supposed to be even secondary to, not that good, they beat them. And they wound up there. And at the end of the day, despite the fact that it almost looked like constantly that Indiana was going to run away with the game, they didn't. Miami came right back in. It was a close game. It was an excellent game. So no, Notre Dame, no Texas, no Texas Tech. I don't even know who else was in there. Might have been a Georgia in there. Might have been a Penn State. I don't know. It just gets to be ridiculous after a while. You're not there. You weren't there. You didn't deserve to be there. You're not the national champion. Nothing proves anything whatsoever because Miami played a hell of a game. Indiana played a better game. So really, my advice to you is grow up. I hate to put it that way, but grow up. Stop being a bunch of infantile little children wandering around, basically all upset that we weren't in the national championship game because you didn't deserve to be there. Okay? Take that. Don't get mad at me. I didn't make the decision. I just see what's happening. Come back next year. I like what Notre Dame has said. They have come out and said, we're going to come back next season and we're going to prove that we should have been there. We're going to come in with a greater resolve. I love it. That's the kind of thing that should happen. The problem with it is Notre Dame has now painted a real target on its back for what's going to come up in the 2026 season. But that's okay. They have the coaching staff, they have the players, they have the fans. They can go ahead and say whatever they want. But the bullseye is right on their back now to prove it. Notre Dame loses one game next year, and people are going to come back in and say, we knew you guys weren't that good, and you were just basically snow jobbing us. So they put the pressure on themselves. Again, go right ahead. I'm not going to root for Notre Dame. I don't root for anybody to be in these games. I have no connection to Notre Dame, but I also have no dislike connection to Notre Dame. But in all these cases, I'm just saying, and you're not going to stop, but it's fun. I mean, I like to go through social media and I see these posts and I just have to get a good laugh. Sometimes I drop in something just to have some fun with it. That's all I got to do. I got to be careful. Again, I'll be even more hated by the people at Notre Dame. What the hell? It's what we do for a living. Now, a couple of other things that are very important here. This college football season is just a tip of the iceberg on what is going to happen down the road. Because here we are. We are in a situation right now where we have players for teams that are reneging on contracts they have signed with the teams in order to go back in the transfer portal because they think they might wind up to be the next starting quarterback at the University of Miami. This is absolutely what is happening in the case of Darren Mensah, who's the quarterback at Duke. Signed contract, a signed contract with Duke. You signed it, kid. You're getting paid. The school has the rights through a certain date in 2026 to have all rights to your name, image, and likeness. You made the decision. And now because maybe Duke's not going where he wants it to do or to go, he decides he's going to go back into the transfer portal. No, you can't do that. That's a problem. That's going to become another issue in college football now because this is a test case and you're going to have more players that are going to sign contracts. They're going to look for outs and they're going to decide at the last minute that they want to go somewhere else. And again, I bring it up because Miami is looking for a quarterback. And I'm not saying that Mensah has already made the decision or that Miami has even contacted him, but I'm saying he's seeing all the possibilities that are out there. This destroys what college football was because more than ever before, as we evolve into college football, we are going to see more players decide to leave. Okay, I won a national championship here at X school. A lot of guys are leaving. They're going to the NFL. We're not going to have that kind of chance again next year. So I'm going to go ahead and sign over here. I got a better chance to go here. And again, it is the hopscotching of players that is now the norm. But it is also the mercenary side of things. The players now run the show. They're the mercenaries. They can make or break a team in a heartbeat. And sure, maybe they want to go play for a coach. But what happens if they get there and then they decide they want to go back into the transfer portal and try again? You've got to nail this down. I don't care whether it's NCAA, whether it's NIL, whether it's an outside group, whether it's lawyers, whether it gets to the Supreme Court. I don't care. But they've got to slow this down. They've got to stop this. Players can't just sign and then decide nilly-willy they want to go ahead and sign with somebody else because they don't think they're going to win here. You signed the contract. That's the difference. Player signs the contract, stick it. You're there. And the school owns you, just like any other contract. I mean, that's what we've walked into in college football right now. It is a contractual sport right now because it is a professional sport. I mean, I liked it during the game when somebody pointed out that Carson Beck was getting paid a whole lot of money to go to Miami, and he is. Matter of fact, he's not even a student, and he's playing college football using his eligibility. So we have all these instances, and there's something else that's got to be taken care of. Carson Beck graduated 2 years ago, and he is still playing college football. He came back, he came to Miami because he was tired of being a backup at Georgia. He wanted to get a chance at winning a championship. Look, I'm not going to blame anybody who wants to better themselves. But this shit's got to stop as well. Because college football used to be you've got 4 seasons to play. The game has to work out this eligibility issue, or we're going to have, I said to somebody over the weekend, I said, we're going to have 30-year-olds playing in college football because they're going to have 4 years of eligibility, and then an injury will make it 5. Another injury will make it 6. A deferment or some other will make it 7. And where does it stop? College football, I don't care how they do it, and I know there's going to be a lot of legalese in here, but when you come to college football, 4 years, that's it. I don't give a damn if there's injury. I don't give a damn of anything. Well, okay. If you get injured in the preseason and you got a chance to come back, if you're going to be out the entire year, okay. I'll stop on that one too, because if you're granted 4 years, you should have 4 years. But we got to stop this 23, 24, 25, 26-year-old player that's in college football. And not only that, but Carson Beck, for all that he did for the University of Miami, is a problem, is an issue. The school let him, and they claim within the rules, which it obviously was, they let him hang out for 6 years. But he's not even going to school. He's not even going to class. And so again, we're at the crossroads in all this. Is college football not meant to be part of the student athlete experience? Oh boy, Ed, are you blowing it out your butt right now? I mean, because there's people going to scream at me, what the hell is wrong with you, old man? What are you going ahead and spitting all that for? That's not the way the game is these days. No, but maybe it should be that way. Maybe it should be that there still has to be some semblance of a class going on here. And if you graduate from school, you graduate. Maybe you take advanced courses. You get 1 more year to come in and play football. But you can't keep jobbing the system back and forth, which then brings us the next case to Miami. Miami has decided they're going to spend whatever money they possibly can. Their athletic director has basically come out and said, whatever it takes, we're going to spend it. Okay, stop there. If that's the case and you're going to do that, again, I can't really have anything to say about it, because if you're doing it within the rules and you're spending, then you should. And that's really what the rules in college football are right now, is spend as much money as you can until you get to that $20 million cap. But between the University of Miami, between Dan Radakovich, the athletic director there, and so many others across football, they want to get rid of the salary cap. And look, you can call it whatever you want, but it's still a salary cap. College football must, without question, have a salary limit, cap, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. Because if you take that away, we are then going to walk into what will really be the haves and the have-nots of college football. And I don't want to see that. Look, I'm not the number one fan of college football. I like it. It's not like I live, eat, sleep, and breathe it like so many people. But I got to tell you, I got back into college football this year because Indiana was hanging in. And I also like seeing Miami being back in it. But because Indiana was there, I got interested again because it's a team that had never been there. For a long time, I've been saying I wanted to see teams in the college football playoff at least have a chance. Because I remember I came out years ago and said, here's 20 teams that you can pick. And these 20 teams will always be in the national championship chase. Just these 20. That's changed. Now because of paying players, you've now got what? 25? 30? Maybe 40. I like that. But you have to nail it down. You cannot, because a team like Miami will spend stupidly. The Gators will spend unnumbing amounts of money. Georgia Bulldogs, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, the usual suspects, LSU. They will go nuts. They will spend $30, $40, $50 million, and then we're right back to where we were, where you're going to have those 20 teams that will have the chance of winning a championship. Because if you take the cap system out of there and let teams spend whatever they want, you'll never see an Indiana in there ever again. Indiana got lucky in many ways. They made a lot of the right choices, along with getting the perfect head coach. But they also made the right choice with players. They were able to bring these players in. And look, kids like Mendoza came in because Miami wouldn't give him a chance. So he said, look, I'm going to go someplace where I can play. A lot of kids are now going to say that. If I can't get in here and I can't get in there, let me go someplace I can play and at least have a chance maybe to make some money. It's always the first thing. And win a championship. They're going to start looking at these smaller schools right now as long as you keep the playing field even. I don't know how you do it. Again, I'm not a lawyer in all this. Even my lawyer friends don't know how you're going to do it. But there has to be an absolute hard line when it comes to spending money in college football, or this whole thing will blow up again. And here's the second part of it. I don't want the haves and the have-nots. I do not want in college football the big teams. And again, you can name them off the top of your head. Alabama, LSU, Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, maybe a UCLA and a USC if they get good again. Any team you want. You can go ahead and just name these teams out loud. I don't want college football to again become just those guys. I lived in that era where it was always just certain teams who were the only ones that had a chance at winning a national championship. And I think that's wrong. I think everybody should have a chance. I think there should be some kind of relegation. I think there should be some kind of setup for leagues, conferences, to have a guaranteed berth, which is why we're at 12, why we're going to go to 16, and why eventually this whole thing is going to hit 24. But the money issue has got to stop. You've got to have a hard cap. Which brings up the last thing that's coming in here. It used to be that college football would exist on monies they raised, student fees, sponsorship fees, booster clubs, boosters behind them, the big boosters who paid a spitload of money and who basically broke a lot of laws. And if you want to talk about that, I mentioned the University of Miami earlier. That's a school where the laws have been broken a few times. But we're at a whole new point now because colleges are now out there soliciting equity partners. They're getting Wall Street companies, big companies, under the guise of sponsorship or donations to come in and support a program. We are going to get to the time when there will be sponsors on a uniform, sponsors on a helmet, and they will be there specifically for that reason, because this organization, this corporation, will buy a sponsorship. They'll get it on TV, they'll get it on radio, they'll get it on social media, they'll get it on billboards, they'll get it in the stadium, and they'll get it on the patches of the uniforms. It's going to happen. That is something else that has to be brought to heel, because you are going to have the more popular schools, and again, I just mentioned them, but you're going to have the ones that are featured a lot, that are out there in the general public, in the general thinking, that are popular on television. They're the ones that are going to get most of the money because that's the best kick for the sponsor. It's equity. That's private equity that's coming in. It's an investment. There has to be a way, and again, not an attorney. I just play one on television. But there's got to be a way to stop this. Because otherwise you are going to, if you couple the private equity with no salary cap for players, college football now becomes a complete disaster. And not only that, becomes the haves and the have-nots. And then you're going to walk right back to people saying this is professional, which it is anyway. I don't care if you couch it as NIL. It still basically is a professional sport because the players are getting paid to play. Their rights are owned by the schools. They have, many times, they have their own public relations firms that push for them. These are wealthy kids. Look, people like Carson Beck are walking away with $4 million for playing college football. But again, I hear it. You're going to come at me and say, Ed, the money's there. Why shouldn't he make it? I get it. It's okay. You're right. The money is there. And if it's there, you take it. But college football is about to turn on its head again. And it's got everything involves and everything revolves around money right now for college athletics. College football. We haven't hit this yet in college basketball. That's next. And then because of Title IX, it's going to hit other teams. And eventually you will have one university that will sell to a private equity and get their patches and their logos over absolutely everything that happens at the school. Is it a bad thing? In essence, yes, because you're giving them an unfair advantage. And Ohio State will make more money from private equity than Ohio University. Notre Dame will make more money than Holy Cross. Miami will make more than FIU. That's just what the market will bear. So if you're going to have private equity come in and say, we are going to own a piece of a college football franchise, whatever it is, you've got to get in there with some kind of legislation that makes sure it's not going to be the haves and the have-nots. We just came out of an amazing championship, honestly. It was fun watching. And I had picked Indiana. Doesn't really make a difference. But it was an entertaining game, and we have just finished possibly what could be considered the most entertaining postseason in college football history. Let's not screw it up. Let's not turn it into the haves and the have-nots all over again. And I know you people out there from the big schools are going to be hammering away at me because you know you're going to make the money. I want everybody to have a chance. I want to see another Indiana in there. I want to see these schools that never get an opportunity. You know why? It upsets the apple cart and gets some of the big-time guys all pissed off. Like the people from places like Texas Tech, Texas, Notre Dame, and Alabama, who were all out there screaming they should have played for the national championship this year. When you didn't deserve it, you didn't make it, somebody else took it. Go ahead. Work on next season. But we got to stop this arms race that's going on right now. Or college football, slap a semi-pro tag on it, and let's just end the nonsense.
Ed Berliner, the fastest show.